Greetings, Captain. Today's video features Stowe Better's first successful solo infected space elite, using the Janor scout ship with an exotic build. We'll review the piloting and run strategy, and as always, you can find a link to the full build post in the description below. It's worth noting that the build was not modified for solo ISE. While that might have made the run easier, I made the choice to keep the build exactly the same to illustrate its versatility at the cost of some DPS. People with more specialized builds have achieved over 1 million DPS on solo ISE, including with exotics. The video starts on the ground. Prior to this, in orbit around Deep Space Nine, I used low cooldown heals to stack restorative particle focusers for their bonus exotic damage, and build temporary HP through the use of the Hull Image Refractor's console. I then beamed down to Deep Space Nine to keep the stacks active while I launched the TFO. During the briefing stage, I focus on spamming short cooldown heals to keep the restorative particle focuser stacks high. I launch mines and precast torpedo spread to be able to launch 2 spreads in rapid succession at the start of the map. Having a very strong opening spike of damage is crucial because the entire opening fleet must be destroyed in 90 seconds or the TFO fails. The central tactical cube is the main target and also what you should apply sensor analysis to. An exotic build should be able to pull the spheres into it and destroy them simultaneously. The side cubes will prove more of an issue. Use all long cooldown buffs and actives here. I try and fire as many abilities as possible while under the effect of the 125 EPG and Control X bonus from Quantum Singularity Manipulation. Since I have unconventional systems and universal designs, I prioritize using all of my consoles first, since that will increase my stats, and then I can lower their cooldowns faster with their bridge officer abilities that I haven't used previously. I continue focusing fire on the tactical cube in the opening stage. I try to space out my various defensive abilities, but there is a good chance all of them, or at least most of them, will be needed, because I cannot withdraw during this stage, or I will run out of time. Once the tactical cube goes down, I turn on the side cubes. Once the first cube is under 10%, I turn to its partner and barely defeat it before running out of time, trusting that my anomalies will have finished off the first cube I engaged. At this point, I take a little time to withdraw and reset some cooldowns before attacking the transformer.
Right shield failing. Left shield failing. Warning, ship is under attack. Warning, ship is under attack.
Since I am solo, I cannot rely on teammates to target the generators, so I take those and the initial guards out before targeting the transformer. As nanite probes from the gateway get closer, I pull them in and destroy them as well, though a smarter plan might have been to try and keep them farther away with a gravity well.
You will be isolated.
Target shield has failed. All integrity satisfied. Rear shield failing. Right shield failing. Left shield failing. 4 shields failing.
A probe is closing in on the transformer. Destroy it! A probe is repairing a transformer. Destroy it! Quickly!
Once the transformer is destroyed, I fly to the right side and repeat the process, generally targeting the cube, then generators, and then the transformer. I tried to hold most of my consoles for a larger burst of damage on the gateway at first, but then I needed them to destroy the transformer before moving on to the gateway, so I fired them off.
Is futile.
Target shield has failed.
Probe is closing in on the transformer. Destroy it!
4 shields failing.
The gateway and tactical cube fight is the second hardest part of the mission after the initial stage due to the high amount of enemy HP and incoming damage. Since I was going for a deathless run, you'll see that I attack quickly, unloading my anomalies and abilities, then dart away to recover hit points. With most of the big defensive cooldowns back up from the initial fight, I can stand and fight someone at the gateway, but once those are depleted, the tactical cube requires several such engagements and disengagements. In team content, this is not an issue as the tank will draw fire, so the DPSer can maintain position and keep unloading damage. On a solo deathless run, without tricks to stealth or immune the damage, it is much more difficult to stand and fight.
Right shields failing. Floor shields failing. Hull integrity below 75%. Rear shields failing. Left shields failing. Floor shields failing. Floor shields failing. Rear shields failing. Right shield failing.
We have the bulk.
Hull integrity below 75%. Target shields have failed. Right shield failing. Rear shields failing. Left shields failing. Floor shields failing. Hull integrity below 75%. Target shields have failed. Floor shields failing. Rear shield failing. Right shield
Will
failing.
be bulk.
Left shield failing. Hull integrity below 50%. Floor shields failing. Hull integrity below 75%. Right shield failing. Floor shields failing.
Eventually, I wear through the tactical cube's massive hit point pool after several such attacks. It's important to mind your range when attacking, as some exotic abilities like the Delphic Tear Generator and Dragon's Blood Flame Reactor have much closer ranges than other abilities, such as Gravity Well, which can be launched from 10 kilometers away. As my hit points start becoming depleted from the tactical cube's fire, I use a speed boost to escape, regain hit points with heals, and then dive back in once I have more abilities off cooldown. The last time I dove in, I believed I could finish the attack cube before I was destroyed, despite having my large defensive abilities on cooldown, and as you'll see, I do end up being destroyed, though the cube goes down a second later. While this ends up not quite being a deathless run, it was my second time completing ISC solo, and was significantly better of the two runs, so at that point I called it good enough. Final DPS ended up at 465k. While there are many other solo ISC videos out there, and this was by far from being the most successful or the highest DPS, we wanted to document the milestone as it is the first for our team, as well as provide commentary and insight as to how we made it happen. Most solo ISC videos we found did not have any commentary or instruction. Once again, we did not use specialized builds for this, but the same build that you can find in the link description below. Thank you for watching. Captain, if this breakdown helped you in your quest to play Stowe better, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel. The link to the specific build used for this tutorial is in the description. For more guides and builds, check us out at www.stobetter.com.